What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another new Mach-E video. Now, you all knew this video was coming, the 10 things we hate about this Mach-E after 405 miles of driving. As you guys know from last video, the taking delivery, the purchase video, we got that car up to about 18 miles at the end of the video. So we didn't really have a lot of seat time to be able to say the things that we didn't like. We gave some first impressions, but since then, the last few days, over the past 400 miles, we've built up a sizable list of about 10 or 15 things that we kind of dislike about the Mach-E. Now, as we said in the review video, our first video, we're very pleased with the car overall. We think it's a great purchase. It's going to do a great job probably replacing our standard range Tesla Model 3. Don't worry, guys, we still have the performance Model 3. Everybody thinks that we only have one Model 3 and we're going to get out of the Tesla game. Absolutely not. We love our Tesla Model 3 performance. Best daily driver for the money, in my opinion. Love that car. We're keeping it. And we have free supercharging for life. So why would we get rid of it if it's free to charge? Now, I would be here with my brother. He's going to be here shortly. I'm actually headed over to the garage. He's actually picking up another project car that we bought down in Tucson. So he'll be back in about 10 minutes, and then I'll grab him and we'll continue this video to get his take on some of these items. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you want more Mach-E videos, comment down below video suggestions, things you want to see with this car.
A few minutes later.
All right, I found Christian.
All right, so we're filming the 10 things we love about this car. My number one would be...
You got the video wrong. This is 10 things we hate about the car.
Can't we start with the...
No, YouTube cares about what you hate about a car. They don't care what you like about it. They only click on what you hate about it. So, things we don't like about the Mach-E. We're gonna go pretty rapid fire, make this video not super long, and we're gonna try to alternate. So I'll start since I'm in the driver's seat, and the first thing you'll notice, one pedal driving in regards to the regen and easing on to the accelerator and it letting off the brakes. There is a slight shudder. Tesla is buttery smooth transitions between braking, accelerating, regenerative, and 0 miles per hour and 1 mile per hour. You can't tell anything. Here, just like, it doesn't...
Going to drive?
Yeah, and then you go to drive, and then, you know, you just hear these things, you hear the brakes coming off. It just has an ever so slight shudder, I guess I can describe it as. I think some other people noted that on some YouTube videos too.
I think so, coming from a Tesla, which is the king of being hyper smooth, and that sensation that everybody talks about when they drive a Tesla, it's not quite here.
Let's try it again.
In this car.
See, you got
I felt that.
It just did that little nudge. Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it could be updated with software. Again, a lot of these things that we're going to mention today probably can be addressed with some updates. That's what happened last time with our Tesla Model 3, 10 things we hate. We were one of the first people to get that car delivered. I'd say every single one was addressed with software update. So yeah. I feel like Elon Musk saw the video.
That was really interesting, and if that's the case with this too, then we'd be impressed.
We will see what gets updated, but it's so small I feel like they can update this, but it's just annoying. You just feel these little shudders with the regen and with this very low speed accelerating and braking. So anyway, that's number one, things that I don't like. Christian, what you got?
And now something else that's angered a lot of people, it seems like, whether or not they own a Ford, own a Mustang or not, but some people are very not pleased with the Mustang Mach-E name. And yeah, I do get it. When I first heard that it was being called like the Mustang Mach-E or whatever, I would just call it the Mach-E, period, and that's how we'll be, I'm sure, referring to it.
I didn't think asking such a simple question in the delivery video would cause such a firestorm in the comment section. I simply said, do you like the name or not, when I held the key and it had the Mustang logo on it, and man, you guys were furious in the comment section, ready to rage war at Ford for using the Mustang name. And like, I get it, it has this insane heritage, it's one of the most iconic cars in US history, and to snatch that name just to sell your EV, people were triggered about that. But I get why Ford did it. It's so that they could send their EV running with a reputable name and something that people go, oh, I know a Mustang, like, I know that, let me like this car because it's a Mustang. But it ended up kind of backfiring on them. I think they should have just called it the Mach-E, in my opinion. That would still play on the Mach 1 Mustang name while being a cool twist, Mach-E, because it's electric. But then
they would have to have Ford badges everywhere. Don't you love that prancing horse? Not prancing horse, Ferrari, but the pony on the steering wheel cover, the airbag cover, up on the front grille, rear grille. How would you like those to be Ford badges?
That is a great point. There's not a Ford badge on this car. You might not know that. Everything is the Mustang badge. So you're right. If it was just the Mach-E, they would need Ford badges. That's a good point. So think about that, guys. But still, let us know your opinion on that in the comment section down below. So another thing that some people have complained about, and I understand where they're coming from, is the visibility not being the best. Overall, it's pretty decent, but you do have a long hood and it sits pretty high, whereas the Model 3 and Model Y kind of slope off really hard and you have great forward visibility. This one, you notice that big bulging hood.
But then it slopes off in the wrong direction out the back to give it that cooler look from the rear. However, then you've got this huge C-pillar with a teeny tiny little window in it, literally like 2 feet of C-pillar of blocking back there on each side.
Yep, so that's not the greatest for your visibility back there. You know, looky, if you can change the lane, it could hide a car in that region.
But visibility of the stars in the sky, pretty good.
10 out of 10.
Last item relating to driving, we have not yet had to use an Electrify America charging station. However, we hope to not to have to in a dire situation, because it seems like it's giving a lot of people a lot of trouble. Just the interface between the two and getting started charging, walking away and grabbing a bite to eat or something, coming back out and realize that it crapped out, stopped charging 10 minutes into your session. Not good at all. We have not, I don't really think, ever had a problem with a Tesla supercharger. Every once in a while you'll get one that needs some sort of servicing maintenance, or maybe it goes slower than the rest of them.
We've rarely had a Tesla supercharger not work. So we've been able to take these huge cross-country road trips without much concern, knowing that we'd have a reliable charging network. Now, Electrify America is working on it. They've had a much shorter time window to develop the infrastructure and get things going. So you got to cut them a little bit of slack, and we're excited to get trying them and giving our take on a road trip. But as of right now, from what we've seen on other people road tripping the car, it's a little dicey. In a month, we'll be taking a huge, like 2,000 mile road trip with this. So we'll be in for it. The good, bad, and the ugly. We'll definitely have to budget some extra time in our trip for charging stops because of what he just mentioned. It could just stop all of a sudden. It could charge really slow. It could not charge at all. You could be stranded if a charger decides to crap out when you have 8 miles remaining. You know, we could be in for some sticky situations in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming.
Hopefully there's not going to be any of those super long stretches, but up in Montana, there likely is going to be. And so I would be, I'm a little more hesitant than taking the Tesla 2 years ago.
And also what some of the people are saying about throttling, that they're only giving you a certain flow of charge for a certain window, and then you got to unplug and replug it in. Just all that stuff that they're dealing with is just something that Tesla users don't have to worry about. So I hope they improve things there, but that's definitely a complaint of a lot of people, and it's one of our complaints too. Speaking of complaints, there's another one. Ground clearance. It sucks in this car, straight up. It's 5.7 inches. You get nearly an inch higher in the Model Y. This is a crossover. I'm not supposed to take steep things at a hardcore angle as if I'm in like a Lamborghini. Like, this is just ridiculous. We haven't scraped yet. I'm not saying that, but this car's ground clearance is almost equivalent to a Mustang, like a normal Mustang GT, a gas burning Mustang. Like, what? That's a sports car. This is an SUV, yet their ground clearance is about the same. Are you kidding me?
That is due to their design of the battery pack, which is the same as any other electric car, where it spans the length of the floor.
To show you how thick this battery pack is, let's just hop out and show you point blank. So here it is. Now, Ford does do a good job hiding it from the side. See that huge piano black piece? That's kind of to like camouflage it a little bit, because when you open the door, it's presented to you point blank. Bam! Look at the size of it at nearly 100 kilowatts. It's a big battery. Now, this makes two things that we don't like. Obviously, the ground clearance. That is the reason this car barely, I mean, look at this. It's barely off the ground. Like, one thing that's interesting, the Lucid Air electric car, it's a sedan, right? But it has a higher ground clearance than this crossover. So for the Mach-E to be a crossover and have a ground clearance of 5.7 inches, that's honestly just straight up bad. But the second reason why we don't like this is it creates this huge lip for the ingress and egress on this door sill right here. Look how dirty it is because we kick it so much coming in and out. With the Tesla, it's much shorter, it's not much to clear, but this car, Christian says it best, you literally feel like you're getting in the McLaren with how big the tub is.
Yeah, it just hit me looking at it like that. Man.
When you hop in, you have to like really climb up over this just to go back down, and it's got to be a solid, I don't know, 4 inches or something. So it's just kind of annoying because this will get scuffed up so fast, but that's the second thing that is caused by the big battery pack.
Another item from me, you know that we like to keep our cars clean, of course, and so when we took delivery of the car, we made sure to ceramic coat it right away. But these piano black trim pieces all over the car are already proving quite troublesome.
Everywhere you look. Piano black, piano black, piano black, piano black. Look at all the fingerprints already. It collects dust, fingerprints, and look at the wheels. Like a piano black, I'm telling you, when you go to wash these wheels, the water spots are so annoying. So the ceramic coating is gonna help a little bit. By the way, from last video, a lot of people asked what brand that was. I went ahead and linked it on the past video, so if you wanna purchase your own ceramic coating to help protect the paint and some of these surfaces, go do that. The interior too, we didn't even talk, Christian, look at all the piano black in there. Oh my gosh, the center console, piano black is becoming like the cool thing, and I get it, it's sleek, it's cool. But it gets so dirty. Oh my gosh, look at all the fingerprints.
Tesla went to black window trim also from their chrome, but not piano black, right? It's like a flat black on the Model Y.
This is fine. Look, it's like a flat black, totally fine. Why couldn't you make this right here?
That is weird. Why did they do two different?
Why? This, look, no fingerprints, no dirt.
I guess this is all rubber.
Could have just done something like this, but you want the gloss, so they did the piano black, and now it just gets really dirty. So kind of annoying, oh well.
From this angle, you can see the height comparison. Oh yeah. All right, so just even, shoulder right out. And moment of truth.
Okay, the Mach-E is like an inch higher than the Rolls Royce.
Yeah, and put that on high suspension mode, and you'll be clearing way bigger obstacles than the Mach-E.
So yeah, don't think this is some huge lifted car, big crossover. It's not. Speaking of doors, you probably think we're gonna hate on these buttons, right? Actually, I don't really find a problem with them. I thought people definitely thought they would, but it's not that bad. Even the back ones, the front ones are easier because you have that little grab handle to hold on to, but even the back, it's easy. So that's kind of a thing we like. So that is definitely not a thing we hate, like some people have said.
However, the other door handles, no good.
I don't know if this is just a problem for tall people with long arms and long hands. Obviously I'm 6'6", he's 6'4". A Model 3, Model Y, they all have the button up here, right? You just hit the button on the little grip handle and then open the door, right? So I go to do that in this car all the time thinking I'm in the Tesla, and then I have to remind myself, oh wait, it's all the way back here. For starters, it looks kind of weird. Problem is with long arms, look at my hand. I have to like cup it backwards and bend my wrist back just to like push it open. It's just annoying versus a simple button, way easier on the Teslas.
Electronic actuator release, why isn't it just a button?
Ah.
It's like Tesla, button, shove it out with your arm.
Well, remember, the Tesla doesn't just have a button, it has the emergency release. So I'm guessing it's a mandate. If they were to just put a button or something, you would still need something mechanical as an emergency release. So maybe that's why they didn't do any sort of button. But you're right, if they have a button on the outside, why wouldn't they have a button on the inside just like a Tesla? While we're on the outside, let's go ahead and talk about the tires. This was one of the first things I noticed when I walked up to the car from behind it. I noticed immediately just how thin those wheels were, the tires. Now, obviously you get better range with a smaller contact patch. Is that right, Christian? Thinner wheels?
And you get less expensive tires.
Okay.
And you get less road noise from the tires or something. You having traction issues?
No, not quite, but they just look so pipsqueak and measly. Like, I mean, 225 section tires. Square setup. Christian's right, you don't feel like you need more when you're accelerating, but we also haven't pushed this car around the corners. There's a chance that you lose some handling ability due to the smaller contact patch. A Model Y has 255 millimeter tires. That's a sizable bump up from 225.
Let's just leave it at when the Mustang Mach-E GT comes out, then it better have wider tires. If not, then it might be a little bit weak.
So we mentioned in the delivery video that we maybe weren't the biggest fan of the volume knob, but after a few days of having it now, I can say that I really hate it. I think it's pretty stupid. Look how much room it takes up all for one function on the screen. Look at that. Like, of your control window down here, it takes up nearly a third of the screen, a fourth of the screen, whatever. all to control volume.
Yeah.
That's stupid. I have volume right here.
Yeah. So the Tesla has a scroll wheel on the steering wheel for volume. That's great. Just one good flick up and you'll jump up 5 points or something, or slower to fine tune it. This one, you would have to go through 5. So the scroll wheel from the screen needs to be over on the steering wheel where it belongs, and this just a simple button for the passenger up and down.
Totally agree. If this was just a small button, you would have a lot more room for your other controls and more space for other essentials, but instead you have this wheel, which, by the way, feels like the cheapest, dumbest thing. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, wait, I was thinking that there's a function for, is that like mute it maybe? Here.
Wow.
What? What does that do?
That's ridiculous. There needs to be a modification where you could just literally rip it off and somebody like codes in a new button, because I hate it. Speaking of fit and finish, I went to go close the door and the door panel started to like pull up a little bit. I'll show a little video of that, but if you give it a good tug or like pull from here, look at it, it's loose. Like, come on, like that's just basic. This is a brand new car.
Something that we haven't had an issue with, but would worry me maybe a little bit, having a passenger in the passenger seat trying to work through some of these multimedia functions in our BMW or Rolls-Royce. This is a way to interface with the big screen. And so that's kind of what I would think most people would think that it would do, and they would turn up the volume with this maybe, or try to navigate the functions. And so obviously when you're driving, if somebody spins this, I'm sure it's not gonna shift you into reverse. But if you're sitting in a parking lot or something and your passenger goes to think they're adjusting the screen, accidentally put you in drive, start creeping forward.
That is true, yeah. If the power's on, look, I go to touch the navigation, I think the navigation wheel's here, boom, you're in reverse. If you let off the brake, you know, you're gonna get rolling. So just be careful of that out there. This obviously don't want anybody but the driver touching it. One other thing while I got the key fob here, no, I'm not complaining about the Mustang logo. I'm complaining about the fact that you only get one key upon delivery. I asked him, I'm like, wait, do we have a second key in like that booklet or what? He's like, no, the phone's your second key and stuff. I'm like, oh, you know, this is an expensive car and you're only gonna give me one key?
Yeah, we're so used to getting used cars with just one key, and it's always a little bit disappointing, but we were certain with a brand new car, we'd get two.
If you're somebody who doesn't use the app to get in and out of the car, and you're maybe an older person who really just prefers a traditional key fob, and you end up losing this one key fob, you're toast. You have to go to Ford to have them create a new key fob, and it just becomes a huge problem, all because they didn't give 2 key fobs. Really don't like that. The fact that I now have to go out and buy a second key if I want 2 key fobs, it's just a little bit annoying. Speaking of key fobs, there's no way to open the front trunk. Whereas like a Tesla, you can hit the front, right? The Model X, check this out. Nothing you can do to get the front trunk open. So if I have storage in there or something, I can't just like, boop, boop, hit it like the Model S or Model X. I don't even know if it's on the app. The only way to open the front trunk is to pull this twice, by the way, not just once. Once, twice. So old school to grab for a grab handle.
Another thing we hate about the hood or the frunk is that you've got to slam this thing, but you feel bad slamming it. And so you want to set it down and then push it the rest of the way, and it is very difficult to get it right.
A lot of people just, oh, would you look at that? Didn't close. Yeah, so if you don't get it closed all the way, you got to come back around, reopen it, and then, okay, so the dropping method doesn't work well unless you really slam it.
And in the last video, we had just detailed the car, so we didn't want to put huge handprints on it, so just like fingertip strength.
It's so hard to close.
That's giving it just as much as any hood that I've ever had to close before.
There, finally. There we go. And another thing, while I'm walking around the side here, some people have complained about, oh, all right, that's it. Forget that, I'll save that for a second. The stupid horn is ridiculously loud. It is ear piercing. I hate the horn. It beeps so often. I don't even know what it's trying to tell me. It's probably trying to tell me I left the car on or something. I don't care. Stop honking at me. Yes, at least do it in a friendly manner.
Well, that's part of the problem, that yes, you quote unquote left the car on in a Tesla, or such a nice opportunity for electric cars is not having to turn them off. Why do you have to turn this thing off?
Let's make that sound again. It is ear piercing. So what do I do? Like, here, I close it. Ford, please, 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 in your next update, make it so it's either not as loud, or I have an option on the screen to turn the volume down. Wait till you're in your garage at home and you forget something and it beeps at you. God, the echo is piercing. It hurts your ears. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I'm gonna move it up a little bit so we can catch some of the lights in the garage. What else? Can I think of other things I don't like? Oh, see, I just turned it off. Or, see, I don't know. That's why I like the Tesla. You just put your foot on the brake and it's good to go. I don't like the on off. My last thing I hate about the car, I should have probably put this as the first or second thing because it really bugs me, but I realize it doesn't bug a lot of other people, so I saved it for the end. The first thing I noticed when I sat in this car and drove it for the first time, and it is still one of the biggest things that bugs me as a tall person, is the fact that the seats have no thigh support adjustment. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the seat controls down here. Most cars, when you tilt the front of the seat control up, it adjusts just the front of the seat, right? It goes from, you know, flat to the front starts to raise, and it goes at an angle, you know, however much you want in that thigh support. As a very tall individual, 6'6", our legs, look how high they go, right? Look at the gap. So, whenever I get into a car, I do the seat tilt function to fill this gap a little bit so my legs have a little cushion on them, right? This car, there is no function. The only function is to raise the whole seat up. Look, the gap's staying the same. Nothing's changing. If you're taller or if you usually use that function, you immediately understand what I'm talking about. I know a lot of people don't really care and they like relatively flat or at a slight angle, but I like a big angle where I'm like really cupped in the seat and my, you know, thighs are still touching material. But here, that will never be possible. Never be possible. So I'm not a fan of that at all. Okay, so there you guys have it. What was supposed to be 10 things we don't like about the Mach-E, which became 15, and then I don't know, like 20 or something like that.
Many live demonstrations along the way that we did not even plan, but really do come up in everyday driving. About 400 miles on it now. Maybe at the next video, hopefully we'll have over 1,000 and we can give you some more insight into the Mustang Mach-E ownership.
Definitely. Drop a comment down below if you have any experience with Mach-E's, if you agree with the things that we said or things that we forgot to mention. You know, comment things that you experienced that you don't like. Feel free to ask questions. We can hopefully answer them best we can.
But if these things are not a deal breaker for you, then we're glad and happy for it. You'll have a great car. And just like there was a Tesla referral program with our referral code, there is also a Ford Mustang Mach-E referral that you can use.
Wow.
Linked in the description down below. So if we gave you any insight, we'd really appreciate if you took advantage of that.
I know that was a longer video, but we had a lot to cover. We really do enjoy the car overall. But of course, no car can be perfect, so there's always gonna be some dislikes. Thank you for watching. Signing off. See you guys in the next one. So I was showing Kieran the car here, and he found a new thing that needs to be on the hate list. Check this out. He's like, the screen's so bright, I need to turn it down. And look at this. It doesn't work.
It's nighttime right now, and we're literally being blinded by this screen.
Wait, instrument cluster mode. It's already in dark. Shouldn't it be like...
Nothing's changing the brightness.
That it feels right.